Windows 9.
Windows 9. Windows no!
Windows 9!
Windows 9!
9!
Does that mean that, like, that's the directive internally? Is that they can't do anything stupid? If someone comes up with a suggestion, it's like, 9!
No! It must be good.
We want to take out the start man. 9!
That'd be awesome because
we want to limit DirectX compatibility to just the 9!
That actually kind of works. Because that was awesome. I really liked that one.
Welcome to the show, guys. It's the WAN show time again. It's Friday, and it's been a hell of a couple weeks, actually.
Yeah, it has.
I figured it out last night. I was like, why am I so far behind on all of my work?
It's like, wait, because we did a lot of stuff.
In the last 10 business days, I have spent 4 of them in the office. Okay? Because I was at 4.5. Because I was at Highlander Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week, and I dragged my tired ass into the office for Wednesday afternoon and, like, wrote a script, and I was like, zombie scripting. And then I had Thursday before it was Friday, where I go to NCIX and then do WAN show, so it's a total write-off. And then I came in this week, worked Monday. Tuesday's a Canadian holiday. It's Canada Day. I wish I had a Canadian flag to wave.
Hooray. I slept in and read a book.
I gardened.
We're awesome.
I know, right? Seriously, I came in on Wednesday. Anyway, so then I got to work Wednesday, Thursday this week, and that's it. I've had 4 days to do all the things that I normally do in 8 days. Yay. Anyway, so I was talking to Brandon when I came in. We're filming something, and he's like, what did you do on your day off? I'm like, oh, I did gardening. He's like, oh, that's stupid. Why? I'm like, because I'm a homeowner, asshole. It's nice that you live with your parents. Someone's got to do it.
I did my charity stream thing on the weekend because there was that extra day, though. So that was cool. So
you could just be a zombie at work, and I probably wouldn't notice.
I was fine on Monday.
You were fine.
I was totally fine. Because what I did was I forced myself to only sleep for like 4 hours or something, and then I went to bed again at like 11 o'clock or midnight. Right. So then I got a full night's sleep. Right, okay, that makes sense. I guess I'll let it...
Just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Get out. Leave. No.
Brandon! Brandon, stop! He runs away. You left the door open! Come back! And then leave again.
Should throw something at him when he comes in range. Boom! You just got shave buttered. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. We haven't actually managed to say or do anything yet. Nope. There's a little bit of news this week. There's a lot of little things, not a whole lot of big exciting stuff. Although one big exciting thing is Samsung has released the first SSD on the market with 3D NAND.
I liked that. Wow.
3D.
Oh, I see. Okay.
NAND, now with 30% more 3D. Anyway, so that's...
30% more D?
They talked about it at their summit. You can't actually buy one yet, but it's coming soon, and this is exciting for a number of reasons. Also in the news this week, 1080p 60 FPS is, and I quote, a transformative experience.
Finally a game developer saying the right thing, and it's a console game. Well, yeah. The game he's talking about is...
We need more flags to wave. I'll settle for a one-wipe Charlie.
Oh.
Actually, it's funny, because Dollar Shave Club isn't even a sponsor of the WAN show today.
Which is why you're using a one-wipe Charlie as a flag, which is white, and you're waving it like this. So you're surrendering?
I'm not... No, I'm not. This is what the console people who think that 30 FPS is enough would be doing.
There we go.
Woo! All right, what else we got today?
Tesla Model E. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just Tesla Model E. Yeah. And Crytek UK staff not coming to work, which is not a... Yeah, no, that's not good. That's not good at all.
All right.
Awkward.
And that didn't work.
Nope.
I have to change the settings. Do not remember playback position. And we're back.
And back again.
And there we go.
Yay.
I love this show.
Oh man.
We should just have like named it the new show. Nothing ever works show.
There you go.
The new show. It's like news and nothing ever works. It's like a double entendre.
Yeah. It's like how PHP.
Friggin' genius.
In PHP, the P stands for PHP.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. All right, so speaking of things that are not terrible, Squarespace is one of our sponsors today. Get 10% off your Squarespace subscription with offer code Linus. Also a sponsor of the show, and this is a new sponsor today, is 5-4 Club. They actually have a special 4th of July deal, which we'll tell you more about later on. And actually, I completely did the wrong thing. That wasn't what I meant to do. Well, whatever. The lower third is there, so you guys can... Works. I gave away the deal. I didn't mean to tell them the deal yet. It was supposed to just be a...
You meant to do the splash thing that we showed at the beginning, actually. It's gonna slam. Oh. Yay, big freaking cable.
Anyway, don't look at the deal. Listen to me talk about it later. The point is 5-4 Club is good, and we have a special 4th of July deal for our American friends. And also the Americans that we hate.
Oh.
Well, anyone can have it. That's the point.
Do you hate any specific Americans?
No. I'm just saying, I'm sure there's got to be one American that I can't stand.
Yeah.
I mean, Bieber, he's basically American now. He doesn't live here anymore. He's yours now.
Owned.
Okay, so let's move on to our very first topic of the day. So, the 850 Pro.
50 Pro. I'm used to saying 40.
AnonTech, the site where I still go for most of my SSD coverage, because they still do a fantastic job of SSD coverage. So, the Samsung had a global summit. They talked about VNAND. They talked about, well, mostly they talked about NAND. So, what's the point of the 850 Pro? What's good about it? The 840 Pro has been on the market for a long time now, and as disappointing as it is that Samsung hasn't released a new enthusiast professional grade SSD in so long.
The 840. I was like, I liked the 840. Why is it disappointing?
Yeah, no, it's disappointing that they haven't released a new one in so long, but the cold hard truth is that the 840 Pro never really got dethroned.
Nope.
Like, it kinda did. There's higher capacity drives now. There are slightly faster drives now. There are drives with better performance consistency, such as the Intel 730 series. But in terms of just, like, defeating it across the board, the 840 Pro has held up incredibly well. Not to mention that Samsung's software suite enables it to perform even better. So you can do things like you can cache the drive with RAM and all that kind of good stuff as well.
They did release the Evo, but are you talking about, like, in that same series?
Yeah, I'm talking... Yeah. Well, the Evo's not as fast as the 840 Pro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they have released another... Yeah.
So Samsung has dropped the 850 Pro on us now, and it's faster, it's higher capacity, it goes up to 1 terabyte, it will potentially deliver higher capacities in the future, it actually lasts longer, which is the first time we've seen that in a while. One of the big problems with SSDs as they've progressed throughout the generations is that newer manufacturing processes have actually reduced their lifespans. Now, a lot of noise gets made about that by hard drive manufacturers or just general, doom prophets and those kinds of people. But the cold hard truth is, I believe it's Tech Report, and I know that Extreme Systems have got long-term SSD reliability tests where we've got SSDs that are rated for X number of terabytes that are rating like a petabyte of data before they actually
even here
die.
They're talking about it's endurance rated for 150 terabytes, but they have one in internal testing.
And this is for the 850 Pro, not for existing drives.
Yeah, internal testing that has gone through over 8 petabytes.
So guys, don't read too much into those rated specs. They have been getting lower as time goes on, but that's what's great about this new NAND that Samsung has unleashed. Samsung's actually been... it's funny because we always expected it to be, the more traditional guys like, an Intel or a Micron to be pushing all this stuff forward. Yeah. But Samsung was the first to do TLC. So that's 3 bits per cell in their, crap, I'm blanking now. What drive was that?
Model names. Not good with them.
Yeah, I think it was the 840. Anyway, yeah, it was the 840. So they were the first to do their TLC NAND drive.
That sounds right.
And they were able to achieve good enough reliability and performance to make it an actual product out of it. And now they're the first with 3D. So I think, I don't know, that's pretty much it, other than giving you guys some specifics. So we have a clicky link to the exact specs here. And it's funny because specs don't really change that much. We're still going to be limited by the SATA 3 interface, so you're still not going to see more than 100,000 random read IOPS. You're still not going to see more than 90,000 random write IOPS. But cool things about it are that the lowest capacity drive doesn't perform that much worse than any of the others. This is a 128 gig drive, so it doesn't perform worse, and the 128 gig model is the one that they have in testing writing over 8 petabytes. So typically, whatever the lowest capacity one is performs the least well because it's not able to take advantage of parallelization in its reads and writes. And then it also typically is not going to last as long because just simple, it's actually really simple math. It's kind of cool how simple the math is. When you have a higher capacity drive and a lower capacity drive, and each NAND cell has X number of writes of endurance, if you write X number of terabytes to each of them, you're going to be filling this. Let's say you write up the entire capacity of this drive and it's 10 times the capacity of this. You just wrote every cell here 10 times and every cell here once. So a lower capacity drive is just inherently not going to last as long.
It's usually going to be slower. It's not going to last as long.
So theoretically, if Samsung was running that test on their 1 terabyte drive, it could have done 80 petabytes. But that's, I mean, don't quote me on that. That's not a rating. It's just in theory. In theory. Totally not... Okay, just forget I ever said it.
He just said theory very many times. Yeah, don't forget.
In theory. There's a lot of overhead involved in wear leveling and the algorithms that keep the NAND working for so long that will make it not scale 100% like that. So let's just be really clear about that in the first place. One of the other things that Samsung's really stepping up their game with on the 850 Pro is that they're offering a 10-year warranty.
Whoa.
You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
That's aggressive.
5 years was already, in my mind, pretty aggressive for a storage device. I mean, when you think about what a warranty is, a warranty is within the reasonably usable lifespan of the product. This is going to work, dog. Be confident buying it. So for something like a computer, a 3-year warranty is pretty good because you're probably going to want to replace it with something faster by that point, or, you know, laptops, you'll probably have beaten them up by that point, or whatever. With a storage device, especially a little while ago when capacities were really scaling fast, 5 years was kind of ridiculous. I mean, drives that I have that are 5 years old are going to be like 320, 250 gig drives. Like
even 120 gigabyte SSD in 5 years?
Yeah.
Like, dude.
It's like, I mean, maybe part of it is that they're just that confident that they're all going to last. So whatever, we'll just throw a 10-year warranty at it. Who cares? And then maybe part of it is just the whole RAM manufacturer mentality, where you know how every stick of RAM seemingly has a lifetime warranty on it?
Yeah.
And maybe it's just for much the same reason. Maybe that's exactly it. 10 years from now, no one's going to give two craps about this, like, EDO RAM. So whatever. Lifetime warranty. If they really want some SD RAM or they really want some DDR1 memory, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years down the road, who gives a crap? We'll just give it to them. For the number of customers that are actually going to do that versus not having a competitive warranty with what the other companies are offering, I'll be interested to see if other guys match this. Crucial is such a conservative company. Intel is such a conservative company. I mean, they blew me away when they offered a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
On an Intel CPU, which, let's face it, is going to last for 5 years or 10 years. I mean,
in general.
Have you ever seen a dead one?
No. That wasn't like someone stepped on this.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like one that died in use where the person wasn't either A, dangerously overclocking it,
yes,
or B, like physically harmed it. Probably on purpose.
They just don't die.
No.
And they still only offer a 3-year warranty on their processors. So, I mean, for Intel to be confident enough to offer a 10-year warranty, they'd probably have to be sure it's going to last for like 50 years. Anyway, I'll be interested to see what comes of that.
Most things are over-engineered. The rating on how much data is going to go through that SSD is probably over-engineered, considering we're looking at 8 petabytes in what they're actually doing and 150 terabytes in the estimation, and warranties are definitely over-engineered. If they're warranting it for a certain period of time, it's probably going to last a lot longer than that.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the changes that they've made. Now, I talked about how traditionally, as we've scaled down the manufacturing process for NAND in order to drive capacity up and prices down, the reliability and the performance has gotten worse. It's just because things are getting so packed in that things can easily leak from one place to another, and it just doesn't work that well at such a tiny scale. So now, instead of building out the NAND chips two-dimensionally, so where they're just spreading things out, so they have to make everything smaller to keep everything close enough together to even work, now Samsung is actually stacking it. That's what 3D NAND is. So instead of using a 10 nanometer class manufacturing process, they've actually relaxed to a 40 nanometer class manufacturing process. I mean, that's pretty nuts. That's like old stuff. Like, yeah. That's like a couple gens ago, like CPUs that was advanced. Like, this is... Yeah, but that gives them that better reliability and that better performance, and because they're stacking them, they can still scale capacity. So we could expect to see, as they scale the manufacturing back down again, much, much higher capacities and much lower prices as time goes on. Right now, it's cutting-edge technology. You're only going to find it in a Pro-class product, which, as you can expect, the 850 Pro is pretty expensive compared to more value-oriented SSDs. There's some pretty cheap SSDs out there.
I was going to say, it's only $10 more for 120 and 240 gig capacities compared to an 840 Pro, and it is exactly $1 cheaper in the 480 gigabyte capacity.
Yeah, so that puts it actually very competitively priced against other premium drives from guys like Intel with their 730, like you said, but not even close to value stuff like Crucial's M550, which comes in at only around just under $300 for a 500 gig class drive. Which is crazy. I mean, is it finally happening? Are SSDs cheap now?
I don't necessarily think we're quite there yet. I think it's cheap enough that, like, every single time I see a build, I'm trying to help them balance their build out so that they can get an SSD in there.
Right.
Because it's worth it at this point. But I don't see a ton of people going SSD-only systems yet. I see it a lot more, and I am seeing it in general, but I still see a lot of people throwing in, like, at least 2 terabyte hard drive in most of their systems.
Yeah, now that you mention it...
Games are still really big. And a lot of games coming out are like 50 gigs, which is insane.
I feel like I did miss something on my Blade 14 review, now that you're mentioning that, now that I'm thinking about it. The Blade 14 is an amazing machine. Just a spoiler alert, guys, that's actually going to come out sometime next week. And for the first time ever, I awarded something an Editor's Choice Award.
I don't want us to start doing that.
I don't care. It's perfect. Almost. It's almost. Yeah, I'm probably never going to award one again. In 5 years, I've done it once, so let's just leave it at that. Okay. But it's absolutely fantastic. Although, now that you mention it, the problem is that in order to make it fit in that amazing form factor, they've got one M.2 SSD. And that was all that was going to fit. There is no 2.5-inch drive cage. So you're a little bit limited in terms of storage. The most you can do is they've got a 512 gig laptop option, and then you have to basically buy that up front. They don't even... Actually, another knock that I did mention in the review is that it does not have upgradable RAM. It has a soldered 8 gigs of RAM.
What?
There is no 16 gig option. So they got called out pretty hard for that.
This basically perfect judgment seems slightly...
It's... Have you used it?
No.
Okay, well, it's pretty amazing. I mean, having an 870M in there... No. But I don't necessarily care about that. I don't use the tabletiness of this very often. I mean, in my Surface Pro, I think I estimated 2% of the time that I use this notebook, I'm using the tablet. That was probably aggressive.
When I had a laptop that could turn into a tablet, I actually used it a lot.
Okay.
But then it's going to vary, so if it doesn't matter to you, then it doesn't matter to you.
And the 870M doesn't throttle.
That's kind of cool.
Which is, it actually boosts a little bit. And that was 2 days ago when it was super hot.
Yeah, that was really hot.
So...
Okay, we need to... I don't like that repeatedly hitting the cable. Brandon!
Huh? Oh, it's not a big deal. I'll grab it. Okay, want to move on to our next topic?
Sure, if I can figure out what it is.
Ow!
Dope!
Thank you for sitting on my headphones.
You put it there.
I did not put my headphones under your butt.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Pretty sure the butt would have had to get there after the headphones did.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, Tesla Model E 30,000.
How did I know that topic was going to be the first one you brought up?
It's the next one in the doc. I didn't even like.
Maybe that's how I knew. Why? What did you think I was implying? All right, so we're gonna head over to our good buddy John Rettinger's website. Techno Buffalo is our source for this one. At 30 grand, the Tesla Model E will be the company's most affordable car. I want to know when they're gonna release a Model T. They should totally do it. Like a retro-looking electric car.
That would be really cool, actually.
Be badass.
You know those like now I'm gonna say steampunk, but it's not right. But when it like looks old, but they just put like the like nice cool blue LED lighting in it and stuff, and it like makes it look this weird mashup. That would be so sweet.
I would love
a wood paneled Tesla.
I'm sure Ford would not have any of that.
No.
But it would be pretty awesome. Or if they did like the model like horizontal and vertical line.
The Tesla T.
I don't think they'd get away with it. But that would be so cool.
They could just call it the model and then put the symbol for the Tesla T on the side of it.
The Tesla model.
The Tesla model.
Do it as like a limited edition run. I would love to see that.
So you can't say it's the Model T.
Messaging Nick.
Oh.
I better make sure there's nothing incriminating here.
God.
Okay, well that's good to know. Okay, so let's go ahead and oh yeah, that's fine.
Not really, but sure, we'll go with it.
Yeah,
what was I going to say? There's not a ton of information yet. It would be launching in about 2016.
Yeah, so we're not exactly close. It's expected to be about 20% smaller than the current Model S.
Yeah, and they're going to drop things like they're probably going to be swapping out aluminum for steel and a few other things like that. But like, it's a way cheaper car.
Thank you.
Can you like push the cable down and then close the door so they don't jam the? Thank you. Don't.
Has he done it to your satisfaction?
Yes.
All right.
We just finished like terminating a whole bunch of Cat 6A, and that cable is huge, and it's going under the doors, and it keeps getting slammed on by the doors, and I don't want to destroy my work.
Probably slam resistant. I mean, it's pretty beast in every other possible way.
It is. I think this is actually really cool because I'm not going to go out and buy a new one, but that means if it starts at 30 grand, years afterwards, it will have to be cheaper.
Right. I'm pretty stoked. Nice. I mean, the big thing turning me off of the Model S is, number one, that I don't buy new cars because I think it's insane.
And there's like not enough of them because it's at a weird price bracket.
Yeah, and then number two is that there's not enough used ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess those are both really the same thing. Also, it's very, very expensive. So a used Model E, a few years after it comes out, that's going to be when I go electric.
And especially if they have that very aggressive battery swapping stuff going on.
Yes.
That would be pretty sweet. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about this, actually.
Yeah,
we needed something like that.
It's going to be cheaper constructed. I'll be surprised if they can achieve the same range with it. They're expecting steel construction instead of aluminum construction. It's going to come out after the Model X, so that's the SUV model, so no time soon, but... word on the street is it's going to be priced to compete with the Audi A4 and BMW Compact 3 Series. So,
and if they do this and if they keep dropping rumors and stuff like that, that means other people are probably going to do it too. And competition in the electric vehicle space is good.
Yeah, I'm super stoked on that. I'd love to drive an EV.
Yeah, that would be fantastic because gas prices where we live are dumb.
Yeah, not as bad as Europe, mind you, but still dumb.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead. And this was originally posted on the forum by Top War Gamer. Still trouble at Crytek. This was actually a few days ago. It's not really like news, but there hasn't been anything else that's come out in the last couple of days. So I checked it out, or at least today. And,
oh, you mean about this?
Yeah, about this.
Yeah.
So basically, there were rumors that Crytek was on the brink of bankruptcy. And then they came out and were like, no, that's not happening at all.
We're just not paying our employees.
Yeah, but there are multiple internal sources coming out saying they haven't been paid properly since April. And apparently, an estimated, something like 100 staff? Yeah, the studio estimates that around 100 people have left. after filing grievances.
A person familiar with the studio.
Yes. Person familiar with the studio. That about 100 people have left after filing grievances. It's unclear if they're leaving permanently, if they're just kind of waiting for Crytek to get their stuff together.
Apparently, it's gone as far as employees at Crytek UK are like publicly hoping that Deep Silver buys them. So, like, I think this has kind of been going around for a while. It's just been under a cap, which is kind of sketchy.
The cat's out of the bag. I mean,
you can't imagine the Xbox One launch sales were that amazing, especially when Rise got slammed by like every reviewer ever.
Yeah, it really wasn't reviewed very well. And then they just launched their what's this game called? Crytek's new game, War something. War. Yeah, they just launched a free-to-play game. I can't even remember. Nobody cared. I hadn't even heard of it until they just launched
Warface.
it. Yeah, Warface.
I thought it was Warface, but I was like, that name seems so generic. It can't be that.
Yeah, so Warface is out.
It's on Steam?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like no one cared.
I thought it was a console thing
at all. So it's a free-to-play / pay-to-win type game.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard of it and didn't care. That makes sense. Oh god.
So that's I mean that's where they're at. I mean they don't charge much to license their engine, and that's something that a lot of gamers are concerned about. What happens to games that rely on CryEngine right now? I mean, is the engine going to get ongoing support? How's this going to work? I mean, has Crytek just overstretched their bounds? They have what, 9 studios now, 9 locations, and you're kind of looking at it going, well, how many games do you actually make? Like, what do people do all day?
Crytek UK closing down isn't going to close down the whole of Crytek.
No, but if they can't pay Crytek UK, then
that is kind of an issue. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know. I'm not super worried about their engine at this point. But then again, at the same point in time, big people like Star Citizen are just chopping the crap out of the engine anyways. So it probably won't even matter.
Right.
Because at this point in time, I'm sure whatever they're working with is so far away from the original design that any updates to it, they'd probably have to pretty much do themselves anyways. So, I don't know. But then smaller studios that would want to use Crytek's engine because it is beautiful and is actually pushing limits on PC hardware, unlike a lot of different engines, might have issues because they might have to rely much more heavily.
I mean, I think that's the thing that I'll both miss about them most and regret that they didn't stick to, is the fact that they were willing to push the PC beyond its limits and build something that was truly groundbreaking. I mean, the thing about that, though, is the last time they did that was a really long time ago.
Yes.
So you kind of look at it and you go, okay, well, how bad do I feel for you? Because you became a big deal when you released Far Cry and Crysis back to back. You were this upstart that came out of nowhere and released Far Cry, the what was effectively the first, at the time, what we were calling next-gen FPS. So it was Far Cry, Doom 3, and Half-Life 2. And Far Cry was never even on the list until it came out. And people were like, what?
What?
Where did this come from?
Literally nowhere.
Like, what? And it looked as good or better than those other games. Like, they were in the same class. And then they released Crysis, and then Crysis 2 was kind of that, but, like, not as much, and then Crysis, whatever. Anyway, so they got away from their roots, which was building really demanding, open-style games, and they got kind of samey about it, and then now they did, like, a super samey, Roman game as a console exclusive, and you're just kind of sitting here going, okay, well, I'm sorry you're in trouble, but...
Not making the right moves, dog.
I don't know. Like, they were all butthurt about piracy of Crysis, and so they were like, okay, well, we're not going to do PC exclusives anymore. And then...
Except that's what made your company big.
So, apparently, in spite of the piracy, you were doing fine, and now you're not. So, I'm not sure.
I think a lot of people interpret pirate numbers very incorrectly. You can't just be like, look at all that potential money that we didn't get. We're going to write that down as a loss. That's not how that works, man. That is not how that works. A lot of those people would have never even thought of possibly buying that game in the first place. And then, honestly, a not tiny percentage of those people would have played it, thought it was cool, and then bought it. I know people that do that.
I know people that do that too, but I also know people that don't do that.
I do as well.
So
I know both sides. I'm just saying that those people do exist. They're not a huge percentage, but they do exist.
I think that the number of those people who think they exist versus the number of those people that actually exist is.
I know a lot of people that also claim to be in that group and then finish the game and just go like, "Oops, guess I'm done already." Like, no.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
People are saying, I pirated it and then bought it, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You did.
And, like, pirating it on day one and then buying it when it's $2 on a Steam sale 2 years later is not the same. It's, like, not the same at all.
You know what's funny? Actually, after last week's WAN show, when I said all that unpopular stuff about how pirates are wrong, the comments were hilarious. Because people are like, well, there's no demo, so what can we do? And on Twitter, I'm like, well, just don't play. And they're like, well, we're gamers. We can't not play. I'm like, what are you talking about? If you don't buy, if everyone just stops buying Call of Duty 18...
There will be demos.
There will be a demo. They will need to sell it. There will be a free weekend. There will be this. There will be that. It'll happen. If you all just refuse to buy it and don't play it.
Yeah.
And lots of games still do have demos.
And honestly,
demo those games and then buy them.
Demo those games and then buy them. Steam actually has a pretty aggressive demo availability, which is pretty nice. I know when Child of Light came out, really interesting looking game. I was like, wow, it's kind of expensive though, and I don't really know anything about it. Oh, there's a demo. It's like full access to the game or something for 3 days. I was like, oh, sweet. That's cool.
Awesome. And, I mean, you know, the other thing, too, is, like, and the people saying... Because I think I made some analogy. I was like, well, I'm a scuba diver, but I haven't been in a few years. And people are like, well, then you're not a scuba diver. You're someone who knows how to scuba dive. You know, for me to be a gamer, I have to play the games. And I'm just kind of sitting here going, well, actually, I disagree with that. Because it makes gamers sound like pathetic addicts. Not like people who are making a conscious decision about how they want to live their lives. And I don't think that's fair. I like to give gamers a little bit more respect than... The latest AAA Battlefield comes out.
You have to play it,
and
or
they
they're not a gamer.
Have to play it, or they're not a gamer.
I know a lot of gamers that, like, I find especially in the Blizzard community, but then also with games like Counter-Strike, there'll be guys that, like, they're like, oh, do you want to play a game? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. This mainly happens to my brother, not me. But they'll be like, oh, do you want to play a game? Yeah, sure. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't see you on StarCraft. It's like, yeah. Do you want to play something else? They're like, no, I don't have any other games. I only play StarCraft. They're still a gamer. I see that with Counter-Strike. I see that with a lot of the competitive style games. Yeah. They'll like only be into that one. That's fine. That doesn't mean they're not a gamer.
Yeah. All right. So this is exciting. 25 gigabit and 50 gigabit Ethernet standards being worked on. So a consortium has been formed, which actually has some pretty big names. So I would expect this to go somewhere. Microsoft, Google, Broadcom.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so this is probably going to happen. But basically, the objective here is this is not going to make its way to your desktop anytime soon.
No, like probably eventually, but not now.
Yeah, not for a long time. I mean, look how long we've been stuck with gigabit.
Oh god.
We haven't even moved to 10 gigabit. So there's that. But this is basically going to be for as a tweener, because right now we've got 100 gigabit.
Let me ask you this.
And then we've
Why
got...
is it that you show someone a photo
what the
and
heck
they
is
flip
that?
to see what's next? I don't want any phone flippers flipping through all my pictures.
Where did this ad
all
come
my business.
From? Tweaktown.
Yeah, Tweaktown.
Yeah, I had a Tweaktown article open on the computer there.
Yeah, no, Tweaktown's like the worst for that.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I never have sound on my computer,
They're
so it never bothers me.
Tweaktown always does that. Never leave Tweaktown at tabs open. It's like the one site where it's like, oh god.
Anyway, this is supposed to exist as a tweener between the 100 gigabit gear, that like super high-end enterprise stuff, and then the 10 gigabit gear, which is that also high-end, but not as completely balls to the walls, 10 gigabit
What was
stuff.
that ad?
Oh, I don't know what it was.
Oh.
Anyway, I think that's pretty much all there is to say about that. It's not exactly the most complicated. If you have some other stuff that you want to talk about, then great.
Not really. It's exciting. It's more looking for like server backend and linking things together within data centers and stuff like that. So it's not really like home stuff. But
so your Dropbox might go faster.
Probably not.
Probably not, though.
But yeah, nothing that you guys will probably actually, or us, will probably actually feel the effects of, really. But
it'll improve efficiency. Prices will go down in the long term for cloud-based solutions. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff. But in the short term, not a whole lot. And we're not expecting any kind of technology based on these standards to hit anytime in the next year to a year and a half anyway. So
it's interesting that the plans to create this were stalled at a meeting last March due to perceived lack of support. And then Google, Microsoft, and Broadcom were like, nope, time to do it.
Yeah, we actually need this, yo.
Yeah, it's cool that they're doing that. I like it a lot.
Okay, so this is actually pretty crappy.
Have you been to Linux Live Journal lately?
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause I have.
All right, so here's an open letter from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Dear NSA, privacy is a fundamental right. And you know what? This is... I mean, every time we talk about the NSA, they're crossing a new line. But basically, what the NSA has been found to be doing this time is they're actually adding fingerprints to your online activities. So even though you might be using Tor browser, so it's difficult to track exactly what you're looking at and exactly what you're doing online, what they're doing is they're putting together the puzzle pieces of the people who are accessing things like Tor browser, and then they're building profiles of these people and turning them into sort of, I don't want to say flagged because it's not quite that extreme, but they're turning these into profiles for these individuals that could put you under more scrutiny if you are attempting to maintain your privacy. It's just like, will this arms race never end?
No, probably not.
I know.
What I find interesting is I've seen a whole bunch of, like, not to slam America, but I'm about to slam America a little bit.
Be nice to America. They're much bigger than us.
I'm partially American.
I know. That's gross.
Can I slam myself?
I'm just teasing you.
Okay.
Actually, so Luke is legitimately half American if you wanted to calculate it that way. So go ahead and do your American. Your mom's American.
Yeah, but I'm technically fully American. I'm just also fully Canadian.
You can't be fully American and fully Canadian. That's
citizenship
stupid.
in both countries.
Dual citizenship is half citizenship, man.
What?
Yeah, you're half Canadian.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, that's not how that works.
You know what's funny is in Canada, you're right. That's not how it works. You're completely right.
In America.
But no. In America, it's not really. Actually, they do make you be fully American when you. So anyway, that actually is kind of how it works. In a lot of parts of the world, though, the way that people view your nationality actually has a lot more to do with your lineage and a lot less to do with where you're born and where you're from. So me calling you half American probably makes perfect sense to our European viewers. Where you're half Irish, even if your dad and mom spent their entire lives in France. If they're of Irish descent, you're half Irish, even though you've never set foot in Ireland.
Yeah, they're like, I've heard that reference too, but only when people are specifically talking.
So you're half American.
Whatever, man.
For I mean, this is good in this case because you're about to say something mean.
I can slam myself a little bit.
Yeah.
The 4th of July.
What about it?
I see tons of people celebrating, and they're like, yeah, the meaning of being American is like, you stand up for what you think is right, to no matter what the odds, no matter what's against you, blah, 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 because America, even if it's like against your government, whatever, you do it for yourself, you do blah, 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 and they're all like, yeah, we're awesome, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool America. You're not cool America right now. You're not. Like, it's just... Nope.
And it's not any individual's fault, I don't think. It's just things are kind of crappy down there. Okay, so the really horrible thing about this whole latest NSA thing is not only are they looking at people who are using Tor browser, they are looking at, apparently, Linux Journal is one of the publications that is getting you fingerprinted. Really? Linux Journal? Just because someone has a passion for open source operating system kernels, does that really mean to
play completely devil's advocate, because I think it's completely bullcrap, but they do talk about stuff like Tor and stuff like what are they called? Tails a lot.
Sure. Okay. So Tails is an operating system that basically leaves no trace on the computer that you were running it on. So you can run it on an SD card or a USB drive or even a live CD. And yes, these technologies, Tor and Tails, do exist for the purpose of hiding your tracks. And yes, Linux Journal does talk about these things, but that doesn't make them an extremist forum.
No.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
It's completely insane.
I can't even devil's advocate that because that's ridiculous.
So, you know what? I want to do a Twitter Blitz right now.
It looks like they are now because there's stuff on their front page like, are you an extremist and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they're joking about it, right?
I know, but like if you had no prior knowledge, it would look like they might be now. But
so here's what I kind of want to do, just for the lols, guys. I want you guys to Twitter Blitz us examples of not straw poll.
Okay.
I want to Twitter Blitz this, so I want you guys to Twitter Blitz us examples of privacy that you think people should have that they're not allowed to have, like the ability to browse websites without people going through their internet history, and privacy that people have that you don't think they should have. I mean, hot button topics like this include things like gun ownership registry, for example. So I just want to hear your guys' opinions. We're not going to be like, okay, yeah, you're right, you're wrong. But the thing about privacy is that there are places you have to draw the line. Like, for example, okay, so let's say anonymity on the internet. Should you be allowed to be anonymous in certain places? For example, you can walk around on the street with sunglasses. You walk into a bank with sunglasses and your hat pulled down to here, that's a problem. Just think about it. Just think about it for a second.
Those are not the same at all.
Which are not the same at all.
The bank and the internet.
It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about just the internet and the bank.
They're like wildly different.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole point. People are supposed to just tweet things.
Okay.
Okay, so like for example, you are allowed to draw the shades over your house. But if you were to set up a 25-foot high wall around your property, that would raise eyebrows. You got building code or whatever else, but basically you're not going to be allowed to do that.
More of a problem for other reasons, but
yeah. So
we have at my parents' house where I grew up, we had these giant freaking trees.
Yeah.
No one cared. They're a lot more than 25 feet.
And I mean, things like things that I don't think should necessarily be allowed. Extremely dangerous animals that aren't correctly contained. I mean, people would argue, well, that's my privacy, that's my security, I'm protecting my privacy. But you see enough stories in the news about these dogs getting out, mauling children, that it becomes a problem. Yeah.
What dog?
What do you mean, what dogs? Bulldogs? Dobermans? Extremely
That's
dangerous
bad
animals.
training.
Yeah.
I completely disagree on that topic.
So you disagree. So having a dangerous animal... I mean, when I say dangerous animal, I don't mean a breed.
You said dog, though.
Yeah. A dog is an example of an animal that can be dangerous if you train it to be dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah. Having a dog isn't the objection here. The objection is fortifying your house. So, for example, where I used to live, we had a drug dealer family living across the road.
Ugh.
Their animals were friggin' dangerous. They were dangerous.
So training
Not
a dog.
because they're a dog,
so
but
training
because
a dog
they're dangerous.
Then.
Yeah, so the point
do you
is...
measure that?
How do you measure that?
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point is just, guys, what do you think is right? What do you think is wrong? Because there are things that I don't think people should be able to do for the sake of privacy. I think putting a moat around your house and putting, starving dogs between the moat and your front door is dangerous and wrong, even if it's for the sake of your own privacy.
I think you're allowed to put a moat around your house if you want.
You're probably not, actually.
I think it depends where you live.
Call before you dig. BC1 call.
Yeah, no, I know. But, if you can... I think if you don't hit something, you'd technically be allowed.
I don't think you can put a moat around your house.
Really?
I'm fairly
sure. If you had,
sure.
a giant farm property, and your house was in the middle of the property, you couldn't moat your house? Why not?
I just don't think you can.
You can.
Okay, in suburbia, you definitely can't.
No, because
I'm
you're
not
gonna hit something.
I can't even paint my house a certain color.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I hate that. We wouldn't even here. We wouldn't even have enough room to cut a motor around.
Well, yeah. All right.
Not even possible.
Spam Jazz says, I think the rules of the real world should be applied to the internet. It should be treated as a place. Igor figures if it affects someone else, then privacy is not protected. If it's a personal preference or something like that, then basically do whatever you want. I mean, an example of that is the fact that you're not allowed to tint your windshield. here in BC.
Yeah.
Someone could say, well, for the sake of my privacy, I want my entire car tinted completely black.
You can do the back, I think.
You can do the back very dark, but not black. There are still regulations.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that pedestrians need to be able to see where the driver's looking. So it's one of those things where is the line? Because there are places where I don't think you just plain old have the right to not be seen or heard by anyone. Like, for example, not being able to tint your windshield. I'm sorry, you just can't do that because it's dangerous for others.
But
that's
like in public. You can tint the windows on your house. You can put blackout on the windows in your house.
I wonder if you could in certain. Again, you can't even paint your house certain colors. I wonder if you're
right,
allowed
but you could blackout blind your house.
You could blackout blind your house.
Well,
yes.
not technically the same thing, but like close enough.
But then again, and this is interesting. If you were to blackout blind your house, put a 25-foot tall fence around it, put video surveillance cameras around it, would you then be surprised if the cops took an interest in your house? Is the NSA any different for taking an interest in people who go to great lengths to protect their privacy than the traditional law enforcement?
Are allowed to take as much interest as they want. They can't enter your house without a warrant.
Yes. But the NSA is not necessarily entering your house if they're creating. Yes, they are, because they're intercepting your traffic. So hold on a second. So how would they take an interest without intercepting your traffic? Without infringing on your rights in the first place? See, that's why this is also very interesting.
But screw them. Who cares? Put my name on a list and then do nothing with it because you suck. Back off.
All right, so Caleb says,
you.
I believe that sites don't have the right to mine data from users to sell for a profit. Not really the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And they kind of do.
Yeah.
Okay. And in fact, if you read the terms of service of the sites that you use, it's very likely that they tell you that they can
have to
use your data for whatever they want.
That's like the Facebook thing that happened with the social experiment. And then Facebook was like, well, in the terms of agreement, it literally says you're going to take part in this. So
there you go.
Yeah.
You should be able to look at whatever sites you want, just not what they want you to look at, but to a point. I mean, I think something that was really, that was something that the article brought up that was yet another facet of this. Just the point of this whole conversation is just think about it, guys. Nothing I say is necessarily me being like, yes, the NSA is right, or this is wrong, or this is right, or whatever else. The point is just to think about it, because think about the people who might legitimately need the privacy that something like Tails affords them. People who are not in America even, where they have relative freedom, and at least the police mostly can't just shoot them. Where they're trying to fight against a truly oppressive government, and now all of a sudden the NSA is collecting this data, sharing it with who knows who, and now that could put them in danger just because they're trying to protect their privacy that they legitimately needed to protect.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to look at whatever say, okay, you need to rephrase the dog sentence a bit better. I think we handled that. The point is dangerous dogs. I'm not saying that a particular breed is dangerous. I'm saying a particular dog could be dangerous.
And that is true.
And you can usually tell. It's usually fairly obvious which ones have been told that strangers are bad.
Yeah, not always, but you're right. They'll have, especially if you're trained in being able to look for those things, they'll be like body language. Dogs don't really hide body language.
No, they don't. Anonymity should be everywhere on the web. It's like saying you can't blend into a crowd, which is another really interesting point that the article raises, and that's that the best thing that we can all do if we don't want to stand out as someone who uses Tor is we should just all use Tor. Because by tracking everyone, you track no one. Or by singling out everyone, you single out no one.
There you go.
Whatever.
I was like, wait a second.
Well, by tracking everyone, I guess what I meant is one of those individuals is not as easily or as accurately tracked.
Yeah, exactly.
In Europe, the policy about using credit cards for transactions...
What?
Okay. Should be allowed to control what companies can and cannot view your data. Yeah. We're not talking about companies, though. We're talking about the NSA. They're not really a company. Why does Slick have a phase logo on his shirt? We'll cover that later.
Yeah, I talked to that guy.
Yeah, we're on this.
And I told him the exact same thing. You'll find out later.
I don't want the government taking my phone without a warrant. Oh, right. So people are just giving a couple examples of things. Yeah. Yeah, that's something
I think that's becoming a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's becoming a bit of a problem. And, even going back a number of years ago, people were having laptops seized at the border to check for pirated software. Yeah. So like that's been a thing for a while and is totally over the line from my perspective.
Yeah. It's my laptop, man.
The privacy question, up to the property owner, says, so whoever owns the property should be able to just do whatever they want there. While using the internet, we're totally free, but like in real life, everyone should set limits for internet use. I think Twitter is not a great medium for this, because I just mostly don't understand things. Actually, Christopher Rivera, you know what? We'll use this as a transition into our next topic here. This is interesting. Where did that one go?
I don't know. A lot of them got dumped in rapid fire, so check there.
Okay.
What are you looking for? The anonymity?
I'm looking for the right to be forgotten.
Yeah,
this is interesting. So, in Europe right now, let's just go ahead and switch over to my screen here. So the EU's right to be forgotten. So there are some Guardian articles that have been hidden by Google. So The Guardian is a UK-based publication, and basically what you are allowed to do now over there is you are allowed to have the right to not be searchable. So you can actually request that Google no longer return search results for a particular thing. So an example of this might be, someone who had a run-in with the police or whatever else. They weren't a minor, so their name and their face and everything was published in articles. Yeah. They can't make The Guardian remove their article, but they can request that Google no longer returns search results linking to that article.
So you're someone who's like the newspaper collector. You could have that site stored somewhere. You could have that URL stored somewhere.
Yes.
And that's not going to necessarily go away, but it's not going to be like easily researchable anymore.
So that actually seems to raise a whole other set of problems, because I can see reasons why this should exist. You don't want your employability affected by some stupid parking ticket you got when you were 19.
Or if someone makes an accusation against you, which ends up being completely false.
But all those articles from before the verdict exist, and no one ever updates that stuff.
Yeah. I
mean, I can see that being the kind of thing that really
has been a big problem.
Should be removed. That's a huge problem. Yeah. But on the other hand, if let's say you're a politician who's involved in scandal after scandal after scandal, and your local constituents can't search for information about it because you just go, okay, well, I don't want to be searchable. And that's probably an extreme example. Like, let's say not a politician. Let's say not a politician. Let's say, an executive within a company instead, where the board of directors might want to, have a look at what kind of guy is this. I mean, searching for people on the internet, whatever you like about it or dislike about it.
Then again, Google's just easy. Most of these websites, like, that's a Google custom search. Not a good example.
Yeah, so the Guardian's on-site search is actually powered by Google. I wonder, we're in the way, but I wonder how long that's going to last for.
Yeah, but a lot of these sites are going to have their own search functionality. So if you tried a little bit harder, you could probably still figure it out. And especially in situations where it's a politician, someone's probably going to try and run slander campaigns against them anyway. So they'll hire an investigator, or they'll just go to these websites themselves. It's not.
But what it's doing is it's making the information less accessible to the average person.
Yes. Definitely.
But then the flip side of that is, should my employability be affected by, here's an example. Should my employability be affected by a DUI? You could dance all day on that topic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't drink, so I can easily just be like, yup, but then I don't know if that's...
I don't drink either, so I could easily just be like, people who get behind the wheel drunk are bad people. But the reality of it is, sometimes good people make bad decisions.
And sometimes there's going to be a flag that was raised that maybe shouldn't have. Like, what is it? I know with steroids, if you eat too many sesame seeds, you can get brought up on a steroid test.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much nailed down figuring out how drunk people are, but I see your point.
I have zero experience with getting on breathalyzers or anything.
I mean, if you eat a lot of poppy seed muffins, you can show up positive for opium. Is an example.
Yeah.
So yes, there are things that could be problems here, but I mean, there's a lot of debate going on in the Twitch chat right now. People deserve a second chance. People are basically bad, and we should document the bad things they do forever. I mean, it's one of those things that never existed before. Yeah. So we have to find new ways to address it. I mean, it used to be that, an old newspaper clipping or like going and looking at microfiches in the library. That was how you like found old news. It otherwise basically didn't exist.
Yeah.
But the internet's been around long enough now that
you can find a pretty detailed history on a lot of people.
There's a paper trail.
Yeah.
That exists digitally that will never go away.
Especially people who are bad with their Facebook privacy.
Hey, even websites that are gone. You can run around on Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine, Internet Archives. Yeah.
I mean, I found some poem I wrote because someone quoted it in a reply to someone else on a forum somewhere. It was a poem about the EVGA 680i motherboard. So
I think I've actually read that.
It was applicable, but I'm like nothing's ever gone. So
I don't know, man. It's interesting. Those are I think way deeper topics than like the WAN show should necessarily.
Yeah, I know. Why don't we just do something lighthearted here? So this is fun. What? Or however that's pronounced. PC Master Race problems, man. Tried running Half-Life 2 at 8K. Some games just are not designed for that.
The text is so small on the menu.
Cannot read the menu.
I was talking to people in TeamSpeak about this, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's so serious about this." Blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure he's sarcastic.
I'm pretty sure that we're just having some fun with this topic. Here.
It looks pretty cool though, eh? Like, not including the text. Did you look at the second one, where it's just, like, the landscape? Other than the sign and the crappy grass, like, it actually looks pretty alright.
Increasing the resolution of a game does a lot. Resolution is more than just a number. I think we can all agree on that.
Oh, Ubi, I'm slamming you so hard in a video that's coming soon.
Oh, I know. I know. You were brutal. I was listening to you recording.
I was pretty aggressive.
All right, so on to more lighthearted PC Master Race news. Naughty Dog developer says Last of Us 1080p at 60 FPS is a, quote, transformative experience. This was posted on the forum by TigerBomb8, and it is pretty hilarious.
Just slamming everyone. This was great.
Original articles on Kit Guru. Want to give us the summary?
So you pretty much already did it. There's honestly not a ton more to say. Last of Us Remastered co-director Bruce Stanley also jumped in by saying, "I had a dream in 60 FPS last night, #TLOU Remastered." And a guy, Neil Druckmann, then replied saying, "What if I told you that was no dream? #believe," which I think #believe was already a thing for Halo, but either way, that's cool, and that's coming, and I think that's a really interesting contrast to one that I think is in Rapid Fire, which is where, what is it, Drive Club? Drive Club is 30 FPS, and they're like, yeah, it's cool, man. Other games are doing it too, right? Don't slam us too hard. They're like, directly, where is it? I'm going to try and find the quote.
Got it. So this was posted by Rohit Kamar. Seriously? I should just start changing people on the forum's names when I can't pronounce them. So this is from Kotaku. Drive Club is 30 FPS for the same reason other games are, says director.
So, quote unquote, I suspect a lot of people think we may have compromised the gameplay experience by choosing 30 FPS. Yeah, you think? But we've spent a huge amount of time minimizing the latency between the pad and what happens inside the game so you never feel disconnected. No.
Well, they may have a point. I mean, play Arma 2. And let's talk about laggy engines. Like, I would rather play at 30 FPS on Source Engine than at 60 FPS on Arma 2. You know,
yeah, but
like 100%.
But they don't have that many comparisons. You can't compare every single game to Arma 2. You have
yes,
a point.
I can.
But don't, because that game's dumb. Sorry, but it is.
Well,
DayZ is super broken. Like, super broken.
I wanted to play it because I was like, oh yeah, it like pushes graphics on the PC. I'm gonna play this game, and I was like doing the training thing, and I was just like,
Did you make it past training?
No.
No, I didn't either. I don't remember where I quit, but I got to like some point, then I got super frustrated, and then I like was like, oh, I wonder if I can shoot the guy beside me, and I shot him, and it worked, and I got put in jail, and I was like, screw this game. I I couldn't figure out how to get out of jail. I was like,
sorry.
this is so dumb.
Your game is just way too broken.
It's like, realism simulator. You're now in jail for 10 years. Well, I don't want to play your game. Whatever,
It's
man.
like Realism Simulator. I'm going to ask for a refund. Let's see how real that is. And then I'm not going to get it.
Nope.
Reality of buying games.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucked.
Oh.
I was actually super excited, and then I got put in jail, and then I never played it again.
Here's kind of an amusing article from the Inquirer. Apparently, Windows 2000 gained more market share in June than Windows 8. Now, the Inquirer is known for hating on Microsoft, and they're known for sensationalist headlines, and they're also known for a lot of things, and sort of the most accurate news reporting isn't one of them.
No.
But this was just a pretty amusing article, basically looking at operating system market share, where Windows XP continues to hold a quarter of the market, with Windows 7 holding about half of the market overall, and then everything else splitting that remaining 25%, with Windows Vista coming in at something like a rockin' couple percent, and Windows 8 holding only...
This is very odd. Their article was written very oddly.
6.61%, which is kind of terrible, actually.
It's not a lot.
I mean...
Hoping for that Windows 9. That's why I was so excited by the Windows 9 announcement thing. Because I was like, when Windows 8 was announced, I was like, I'm probably never going to use this. And that's okay.
I use it, but I intentionally avoid as much of the
And you
horrible
use it
stuff
because it's like pre-installed on the stuff that you use it on. You use it because you're lazy. And that's fine. But like, I've never seen you go out of your way to install it.
Not once, ever.
Nope. Not once. We're both running it right now on our laptops. Because,
Check it out.
Because
Modern
you
UI.
know what? Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That thing that he never uses.
Yeah.
Because you click the thing that says desktop and
Every
you
time I
never
open,
go back.
I know two hotkeys on the computer that like are helpful for managing Windows 8. The Windows key for opening Modern UI and Alt Tab for getting back out of it.
Because oops, you press that button and then wait, I gotta get back to my stuff. My actually useful
The thing
area.
that it's not that bad. The only thing that really drives me crazy about it, that just makes me want to put my fist through the screen, is on a new install, trying to open an MP3. Or like a video
do
file.
Anything, and then permissions things I find to be a big issue.
At least it's actually easier to disable than it was on Vista and 7. It just has a prompt that's like, boop, do you want to get rid of UAC?
No, not even just UAC.
Oh.
Like, trying to do any deep-rooted stuff is, like, really annoying.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like, really, really annoying. I don't know. I've just found everything that I try to do on Windows 8 or 8.1, I just find it's extremely taxing.
Okay.
When it really didn't need to
Yeah, actually, there's another example.
Except for stuff like file transfers, which are absolutely freaking fantastic and have almost brought me to Windows 8 multiple times.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, there are a few things that drive me kind of crazy.
The task manager's
like user. Okay, so user accounts. Okay, if I'm like, yeah, I got my user accounts here. I want to change something about it. I can change my account type. I can manage another account, and I can change UAC settings. Other than that, if I'm like, oh no, sorry, wrong thing. If I'm like, yeah, I want to make change. Oh, really?
Why?
And then the flip side of that is when you're in Modern UI and you try to do certain things, it just drops you out of it for that. And I'm just like, oh, really? It just can't decide what it is. It's broken, and maybe Windows 9 will be better, but honestly...
It runs games a little bit faster, but my computer's kind of beast, and most games are crappy console ports anyways.
People are saying after you learn all the hotkeys, it's very usable.
Nope.
Okay, after you learn all the hotkeys, Adobe Premiere is very usable. That doesn't make it intuitive, and that doesn't make it a well-designed UI. It just makes it usable when you're an expert. I mean, you could say that about anything. You know, mixing cocktails is easy. If you
Once
memorize...
you learn what all the buttons are in a spaceship, it becomes pretty awesome.
Memorize every combination and, you know, get really good at doing it. And then it's easy. It's like, yeah, okay.
Hooray, DOS and Linux.
Yeah, DOS is easy if you...
It's super easy. You can probably do things faster in DOS than you can in Windows if you know everything.
Yeah, there are certain things that I can do faster at a command prompt.
Yep.
So speaking of which, Good Bytes has a post here about Windows 9 preview expected for the end of the year. So thank you for posting that. And I don't know, anything to say?
Not a ton more than what we've already said. They've said many times that they're going to be trying to cater more to the Windows threshold desktop experience kind of thingamajig going on, which is fantastic. That's awesome. Good to hear. Who knows if they'll actually do it. Hello, Microsoft. We're going to support PC gaming. So who knows? They've also talked more about stuff like this and the yoga. Where it should support better transfer between when you flip your screen, it'll automatically switch to something like Metro. Should support better of doing thatness, whatever that even means. I don't know. A lot of it seems like they're talking out of their butt. They heard a lot of people complaining that they ditched the Windows 7 user desktop experience thing, and now they're trying to be like, yeah, we're bringing it back. But it's Microsoft, so who freaking knows? They better, because this is the second one. They jumped once and then it was bad, so they have to fix everything and jump again. And then the one, Windows 10 or whatever it's called, will probably be terrible again.
I don't know. Their claims about, supporting switching between the Metro UI and the window style mode based on whether or not a keyboard is connected. I kind of look at that and I go, look, I don't know. On Surface, you guys couldn't even figure out whether to use the on-screen keyboard or the connected keyboard about 3 to 4% of the time, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal.
But every single time that happens.
But every time it happens, you're just like, really? And you couple that with the Windows 8's integrated on-screen keyboard is terrible. Like, it's not a tablet keyboard at all. It's basically unusable. And you just... all the jokes. This is kind of a ranty... discombobulated show, isn't it?
It is. We're just mad about things because it's hot and annoying and there was kids screaming outside and we're old.
Okay, so good news. Microsoft and Canon have agreed to just kind of use each other's patents and no big deal. I would like to see so much more of intellectual property sharing between companies where they're cooperating to make the technology better for us as opposed to just trolling each other and suing each other all day. I mean, I think that pretty bitter rivals have shown that it's possible in the past. Guys like Apple and HTC, for example, where there was a lot of butthurt there and it was just dragging them both down and they're both just like, yo, okay, ceasefire. Like, that one was a relatively short-term deal, but let's just not do this anymore. And I'm just happy to see it. I mean, I don't know necessarily what's going to come of this. Better camera on Surface 4, I guess we could hope for.
I thought it was kind of weird.
Maybe Canon will improve their camera software.
Maybe Microsoft's going to make some printers. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Do we really want Microsoft helping Canon with software?
But the thing about these companies is that they have a lot of patents that go far beyond printers and cameras and operating systems. So who knows what's going to go on? I mean, Canon owns display technology patents and stuff like that. So who knows? But there you go. Every time I think about Canon displays, I wish SED had come out. It was better then than anything that still currently exists. And it never happened. I think it was a patent dispute, too.
I think so.
I think it was an intellectual property thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so mad. Yeah, don't worry, I hadn't forgotten. Okay, so it's sponsor time! Squarespace! Woo! I know, we talk about Squarespace a lot, but the cold hard truth is Squarespace is pretty awesome, and for a number of reasons. Squarespace is and this is kind of funny, because we were talking about how Squarespace is what LinusMediaGroup.com runs on the other day, and then one of the sort of resident buttheads on the forum was all like, there's something, I'm angry, blah blah blah, you're always talking about how great Squarespace is, and the forum is slow, and I got a CAPTCHA or something. And I'm just like, well, the forum doesn't run on Squarespace, so yeah. Yeah, so LinusMediaGroup.com runs on Squarespace because it's the fast, easy way to create a beautiful website that looks great on a phone, looks great on a tablet, looks great on a desktop, and is extremely versatile. You can have something for your blog, for your portfolio, for your online store, and the great thing about it is even if you are not, yeah, people know who it is, even if you are not, web designer, even if you're not a graphic designer, they make things relatively easy so that normal people, as long as you got a little bit of computer savvy, can figure it out mostly on their own, and even people who can't figure it out on their own can use their 24/7 tech support to get some help. And, there's more. Squarespace also is giving away another website. So I'm like,
running for websites?
Yeah, running for what you don't actually have to run.
Squarespace should have a super long marathon, and everyone that finishes it gets a free website.
And then they wait. What?
I don't know.
You know, it's funny because you rip on me for saying stupid stuff sometimes. When sometimes you just aren't necessarily following what I'm saying.
Squarespace does some interesting stuff for advertising. Like they had that guy make the song, and they had all this other kind of stuff going on. If they did a Squarespace Marathon, that would get press. People would talk about it because it's weird.
How many website designers could run a marathon?
I could.
I mean, let's talk Venn diagrams. Okay, could you run a marathon?
I run 8K. What's the definition of a marathon?
A lot more than 8K.
Is there like an actual definition of a marathon?
Yes, a marathon is a specific thing. Just like a half marathon is half of that specific
26 miles. I quit.
Yeah. So let's talk Venn diagrams for a minute here. We've got people who can run marathons, and we've got website designers.
Put like maybe a fingernail.
Yeah. Maybe they touch each other. You know what? I want to hear from you guys in the Twitch chat or on Twitter. Are you a website designer who can run a marathon? And if so, kudos to you. Anyway, the point is
40 kilometers. Shoddy not.
Yeah, and it changes. So 42 more recently. Oh no! Oh,
that's older.
No, that's newer.
1924
is newer than 1896.
Oh, I thought it was a 19.
You were going after me about that privacy topic earlier, so I'm taking every opportunity from now until the rest of the show. So the point is, right, Squarespace, they're giving away a website. All you have to do is tweet with hashtag Linus Squarespace sometime in the next week, and we will show off your website on the show, and then one of those lucky winners will get a free site for a year. For those of you who don't win, you can visit squarespace.com/Linus for a free trial. It's a 2-week trial, and you can get 10% off if you use offer code Linus. The great thing about the free trial is that you can completely design your website, decide if you like the service, decide if the scalability is going to work for you, and then you have no obligation to use it whatsoever. So we've actually got, I've got another one. I've got one to show you guys that's from last time we did one of these. Here we go, Linus is screen sharing. Last time we did one of these giveaways. I'm just gonna put it on the top. So this is Pascal Brunner's website, evidently. I haven't actually looked at this one before. I just picked out one of them. So the idea is that it's super easy to build something that is as complicated or as simple as you'd like, and it should look great, perform well, and just generally be pleasing for people to browse. Something that you really can't do with WordPress or similar services unless you're willing to put a lot more work into it. I happen to be using my touchscreen to navigate it right now, so, you know, the kinds of compatibility things that you just don't have to really think about. And, look at this. So we can browse his travel blog. Apparently hasn't filled that in. Maybe he's hoping to win the website before fleshing it out a little bit more. But the point is that it works, and it really doesn't take that much work for it to work. Which leads us to our second sponsor of the show today, FaZe, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that his symbol? I haven't seen that.
It's actually not
He's
that
gonna
different.
get naked.
Yeah,
so no one's
I'm
really
getting
gonna look at me
naked
anyways.
because I believe in wearing my WAN show shirt for the WAN show as much as I can.
It's really similar. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. All right, so 5-4 Club. Are you a big fan of shopping in the mall? Are you a big fan of clothing salespeople? Are you a big fan of... What else is horrible about shopping for clothes?
Those were, like, pretty widely encompassing.
Are you a fan of, you know, keeping up with the latest fashions?
Is the best thing in the store the boyfriend chair?
Yeah, I know, right?
Because yes, it is.
Because yes, it is. So 5-4 Club is basically the way to not have to worry about your wardrobe anymore. The basic premise behind it is they send you at least $150 worth of clothing every month, and then what you pay is $50 a month. And what's cool about that is that you don't have to think about anything. They assign you a personalized stylist who picks stuff out for you, so you don't do any thinking. New clothing arrives once a month. You just do a quick questionnaire. It takes less than a minute, which is pretty darn cool. And then you basically say, okay, look, I like these shoes, I liked these shirts, I liked these pants, and they just completely deal with the whole thing for you. Luke, do you want to show off your 5-4 Club shirt?
It's a little tight. I think everyone can see it. I liked the more conservative design. Oh no, we both have pretty conservative design shirts.
Yep.
Nick has one that's like 5-4 clothing, and I actually like the small logo that apparently looks like FaZe's logo. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's speckled. I don't know if the camera can see that very well. Not really. But yeah, there you go. I like V-necks, and it's a V-neck, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of different stuff. You're not really stuck with one thing versus another one.
You go through that, like, what do you like kind of questionnaire when you sign up, right?
Yeah, and I thought they weren't necessarily... I thought they were kind of pulling my leg when they said it takes less than a minute, but it actually took me, like, 54 seconds or whatever, something along those lines, so...
I love those surveys that are like, this will take, like, 3 minutes. Half an hour later, you're like, oh, God! Why is there so much crap? But yeah, they put you through this little questionnaire survey thing so you don't get stuff you're totally not going to want. They can actually profile you a little bit and then send you things that you will hopefully actually like, which is pretty cool. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the numbers because I think I might have gotten them wrong, which is going to be terrible. Okay, for $60 a month, you get $120 worth of clothing.
There we go.
Wow, that's terrible. So basically, the thing that's going on right now, though, is for the 4th of July, you can use offer code Linus4th for $20 off your first package. So you're getting an MSRP of $120 worth of clothing for $40. You can cancel at any time. It's actually super simple to do. We had one person on the forum that basically went, yeah, you know what? The quality of the clothing's nice, but it doesn't quite work for me. I don't want to continue it. And boom, it was done just like that. So it was pretty easy to get taken care of. And I think that is pretty much it. So guys,
do we know where they ship to?
Do we know where they ship to?
Yeah.
Ooh.
People are asking that.
US and Canada for sure.
Yes.
Not 100% sure outside of that. So you're going to want to go to bit.ly/LinusFFC and use offer code Linus4th. 4TH in order to redeem your extra amount off. Normally for 5-4 Club, you guys can get $15 off your first purchase, so now it's just an extra $5 just so they can give you guys a little incentive to try it out here. Because if you hate clothing shopping anywhere near as much as I do, then yeah, there's that. I feel terrible about getting those numbers wrong. I'm not necessarily that great with numbers. And then they went and they changed them around on me today. And I was like, oh, okay, the 20 corresponds to the discount, but then the amount that it normally is corresponds to whatever the heck it is. The cool thing about it is that aside from, I mean, if you're into, you know, which celebrities wear it, the list is actually kind of ridiculous. Like, if you go on their site...
I get that, though. I would probably want a mail order thing if I was a celebrity person.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just like, Mark Wahlberg is the sexiest hunk of man on the face of the earth. And I was like, he wears 5'4", so I was like, that's pretty cool.
Isn't he, like... Wasn't he convicted or something?
Mark Wahlberg? Really? Shut up.
I might be thinking the wrong person.
I don't think so. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he was like... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he can still be sexy, even if he has a bit of a checkered past.
So newsflash, Linus is into bad boys.
Yeah. I'm not ashamed of it. All right, so that's pretty much it. 5-4 Club, and let's move on to our next topic, shall we?
All right. So next, what do we got? I think we jumped all over the place.
New Extreme Editions are rumored to be coming very soon. I think calling this a rumor at this point is
It's been rumored to be coming at like a fairly specific date for a long time. Every rumor is like, yep, just don't forget.
So
we thought it was this time a while ago.
It's rumored to be priced at $1,000, just like
whoa, surprising.
every other Extreme Edition ever. But what's exciting about the rumors for Haswell-E, so this is Intel's upcoming enthusiast / workstation grade processors, is that the lower end chips, even the lowest end one, so the 5820K, allegedly 5820K, is going to allegedly, rumoredly, be a 6-core. Up until now, processors like the 4820K have just not made a lot of sense to me.
Nope.
Like, I guess if I only need a quad core...
There's a reason why that one's in the thermal bench.
I specifically only need a quad core, but I really need 64 gigs of RAM or more. Unbuffered memory. 64 gigs of unbuffered memory.
I'm sure someone can find a use for that.
Like, but I don't need a 6-core.
That's the one I don't understand.
I'm gonna buy all that RAM, but I don't need the 6-core.
That baller expensive motherboard. And not spend the little bit more.
So those quad cores on LGA 2011 have always been a bit of a black sheep to me. Whereas now we're gonna get an 8-core Extreme Edition. This is the first time Intel has differentiated an Extreme Edition based on the number of cores since the 980X. So we're gonna get an 8-core Extreme Edition, and then we are going to get a 6-core step down, and then a 6-core, hopefully, like $350 to $400 range CPU, which
actually
would be
all of this is
really exciting.
Hopefully, maybe. But
hopefully, maybe, possibly.
I would love being one of the rumor writers for the sites that kind of spread rumors around, especially for Intel stuff. It's like price for the Extreme Edition, $9.99. Crazy balls, right?
Yeah, the other ones are a little more difficult.
Yeah,
because
true.
you have to memorize different numbers. But, the other thing is that the platform will use DDR4, so we could be looking at higher speeds, lower power consumption, higher density.
Cost.
Could be looking at, yeah.
Cost.
But the cost is expected to be extremely high for DDR4 initially.
Early adopters.
I mean, really, the Extreme Edition might end up being the only one that actually makes any sense.
Yep.
Because you're gonna get an octa-core as opposed to a 6-core, and you're gonna have to pay a premium for it, but you're gonna get an octa-core, and then you're gonna have to pay a premium for that RAM, but you're gonna get an octa-core. Whereas buying older LGA 2011 Ivy Bridge E CPUs and DDR3 is probably gonna make a lot more sense. Something like a 4930K, where you get a 6-core and DDR3.
And saving money on both of those because the new ones are out. Because it'll be DDR4, which will hopefully drive the price of DDR3 down. Because damn, what's been happening to that lately? Your factory had problems a long time ago, bros. Bring that price back down.
Originally posted on the forum by Ewan? Whatever.
Can't even see it.
I give up.
The
Division might have microtransactions.
Remember that talk we had about Ubisoft and how they didn't like DRM? And they were like, yeah, we're going to remove DRM by not removing DRM. This is their solution. More microtransactions. Because hopefully you can't pirate those.
You know what? This was moved into rapid fire topics, but I thought it was actually a pretty interesting...
We were more just running out of time, to be completely honest.
Oh, okay.
That one was a fairly,
Where's that? Bloody hell.
Well, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for that EA article, where they were basically justifying microtransactions, saying that...
Core gamers uncomfortable with change?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Peter Moore from EA comes out saying the core gamers are uncomfortable with change, and that's basically the reason that people are upset about the changing landscape, which would be mobile gaming, microtransactions, and I see why people don't like it. And he acknowledges why people don't like it and says, you know what, it's totally fair to not like it. But he just kind of says, well, look, I think that what we have to understand is that that's the way the industry is going. And all you have to really do is look at companies that are just trying to maintain that traditional $60 title mindset. We're going to sell you a $60 title, and then everything else is just going to kind of... we're going to do it the old way. And gamers aren't necessarily satisfied when that happens. I don't know
if that's necessarily the truth, because it seems like what gamers are very unsatisfied about is being hit with both at the same time.
That's a good point.
Because, look at CD Projekt Red. I don't see anyone complaining about Witcher. I don't see Witcher having any problems.
That's true. That's a good point.
And they're like the only ones that are actually doing just one attack. Everyone else is like, $60 title, here's a butt ton of DLC, also, by the way, microtransactions on the side.
It's not fair to say everyone else. I mean, you know, there are MMOs that just have a subscription. There are...
Which one?
Actually, a lot of them have microtransactions now. Okay, forget it.
EVE has microtransactions. WoW has a microtransaction where you can make your character max level. Like, I actually... That's quite serious when I said which one.
Okay,
The only one I can...
The issue with the traditional way, with no microtransactions, so with just paying for it up front, is that gamers are going to be ultimately unsatisfied when that company can't afford to support the multiplayer anymore, for example, and the servers end up getting shut down. Now, the obvious solution to this is they should let us run our own servers in the first place, but... I don't know, maybe if they just give something back...
My favorite thing posted on this thread was,
Okay, this topic is just making me sad.
My favorite thing posted on this thread was that, what's the principal in The Simpsons? Skinner?
Yeah.
Am I out of touch? No. It is the people that are wrong.
It's the children that are
It's
wrong.
the children that are wrong. It's like, actually, no, you're just wrong. Attacking people on every possible front, DLC, full price game, microtransactions, and possibly even a subscription, is not the way to make a happy customer.
Okay, he does make a good point about customers being willing to give money in this way, and therefore, as a business, if you want to survive, you have to leverage that.
That also doesn't need to be all your games.
And that's true. It doesn't need to be all your games, but you have to look at the success of something like Candy Crush Saga and go... If Linus Media Group...
But that's one thing, like, I don't see anyone complaining that mobile games exist. I've never heard of that complaint.
I would complain about Candy Crush Saga's implementation of microtransactions.
No, I mean mobile games in general.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining that they exist. I'm just... It's more of an... like, his quotes here are actually pretty good. It's more of an observation that this is really successful. And as much as that old guard core audience of the more hardcore gamers doesn't like it, new gamers are being brought in onto the gaming scene used to that.
But you can do it in good ways. I don't know that many people that complain about the microtransactions in League of Legends.
Yeah, that's a great example.
I never have.
Yeah.
I've found them to be completely fine, and I personally know someone who spent like $2,000 on League of Legends.
And Team Fortress 2 is another great example.
Team Fortress 2, fine.
Yes.
Totally fine. Counter-Strike, I've spent an okay amount of money on Counter-Strike just
Really?
opening freaking cases because I'm an idiot. It's not like
Really?
okay amount of money is not that much. I haven't spent that much. Usually I'll spend what I get off of selling the cards.
Okay.
You know how you get the cards and you can sell the cards?
No.
I
have never... I actually believe I own Team Fortress 2 items. I have never once looked at them.
I haven't for Team Fortress. Well, I've looked at them. But
I'm just saying, the one time
while you play a lot of games now on Steam, you gain these trading card things. And you can sell them for Steam bucks. And then you can spend that Steam money buying a key, which will open a box, which you can then probably sell the item from because it's probably not even good. It has been proven that it is much more cost effective to just buy the item than to buy the key to open the box. Because the chance of something coming out of that box that is worth anything is so low. Like, insanely low. People have even made websites that are dedicated to, like, capturing the experience of opening the box. So you get infinite keys in a box, and it's a random number generator that'll be like, you got this item, so it can prove how much you've lost. It's like, yeah, it's not worth it. Even if you wanted to buy, like, a $60 rifle skin, it's better to just buy it than open that many boxes.
So basically it's Pokemon cards all over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't buy the booster packs, just buy the damn card. But then actually just don't buy either. And then there you go. The best part, the coolest part I've seen is when me and my friends will be playing and someone will accidentally take one of the skins off of one of their rifles and they're like, whoa, it looks cool. It's like Blackout because it's all black. Everyone has so many skins that once the skins come off and you just see the blacked out gun, it actually looks pretty cool. I'm like, wow.
You're giving me such a headache right now.
It doesn't help that it's like insanely hot in this room. All right, you wanted to move on.
I think this has been our worst show in a long time, and yet there are 4,800 people watching it.
I don't think it's been the worst show. You're just sad. That doesn't mean it's the worst show.
I guess if they just want to watch me be sad and angry.
And your shirt came off.
And my shirt did come off.
You... Just like...
My shirt came off during probably the worst sponsor integration that I've ever done. It's like...
You spent the whole time looking for the...
Okay, guys, here. I don't do this often, but please, if you want a subscription clothing service, please go check out 5-4 Club, because otherwise, they are going to drop me so hard.
Because that was terrible.
And I
said some numbers that are wrong, so I'm going to buy time and look through emails. And eventually I'll find it.
And I couldn't find the email. I'm not going to send them this part of the video. So they're just going to have to be amazed at like how many people signed up for a trial of 5-4 Club. It really is a good deal with the $20 off deal right now. So check it out. Okay, it's $120 MSRP worth of clothing for $40, and if you sign up for $120 MSRP,
because you get the $20 off, so
yes,
it's $40.
So it's $40. You should just try it for 1 month, because otherwise I'm gonna look terrible. Whereas if like I do the worst integration ever and the results are amazing, they're gonna be like, wow.
We should probably do more of those.
Yeah, we should have him screw it up all the time.
We'll purposely give him the wrong numbers now. It won't matter. He probably won't remember. It's okay.
Oh, I'm just a bad person, I guess. Okay, so this is posted on the forum by Symbolizer21. And the original article is from geek.com. It's going to be approximately $70. And as much as this is, like, kind of cool, I don't think it's necessarily very smart. This is, like... It's like a cooler... It's got 62 feet of heat pipes in it, apparently, which is just expensive for no reason. Like, heat pipes are good for carrying heat somewhere. They're actually not very good for dissipating it to the air. A cylinder is actually very efficient from an internal volume to external surface area perspective, not because it has a lot of surface area and very little internal volume. It's the other way around. So it has very little surface area, but it has a lot of heat pipes, and it's just like, okay. So the company recommends it for Core i3s and Core i5s only, but not Core i7s. And the thing that people need to remember about passive coolers is that they're just basically all a bad idea. Because a passive cooler, you would only use if you want to have like an extremely silent PC. And if you have an extremely silent PC, then you probably have a mostly passive rest of your system. And passive coolers are not designed to work correctly without system cooling around them. So it's like a catch-22. You can't win.
So just focus on getting very quiet things everywhere.
Yes.
Extremely quiet things. Very low RPM spinning, like Noctua noise blocker fans.
Yeah, buy all the Noctua. I refuse to acknowledge noise blocker because they're not Noctua. No, but seriously, noise blocker stuff's really good.
I'm like, what?
I just don't fanboy over it.
Because you've never even tried them.
I haven't. They've never contacted me. I've never contacted them. It's not because we hate each other. It's
I know. I'm just saying.
Just is what it is.
I don't know. It's hard to beat the new industrial-looking Noctua fans. They look kind of amazing.
Yeah, they do look kind of amazing, but
I fixed that problem.
Might be able to beat it at some point. Speaking of beating it, I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna beat it. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel. Apparently, you guys mostly enjoyed the show this week, even though I thought it was like the worst show ever. So I am just immensely grateful to almost 5,000 of you for tuning in and watching us. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
No! Not that one. Where's my thing? No, I'm starting it over.
It's fixed now.
I don't care.
But it's fixed.
There. I want the thing to play. I've had enough of this show being a failure. Oh, Highlander. Highlander videos. Oh, the music is loud. Hold on. Guys, Highlander content is coming very soon.
First, we have to beat it.
Sunday night. Really? Really, you're gonna say that? You know we're like on TV, basically.
What? We're probably on someone's TV.
Oh,
I hope we're on someone's TV.
this is actually, I have something to point out for you guys. If you haven't entered already, speaking of Highlander, this is like kind of a big deal. Yeah. So one of the laptops that came with us to the top of the mountain that we actually gamed on. We played.
Do we know whose it was?
It's mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I played Doom on this laptop on the top of a mountain against Logan and Kane and Luke and Paul and Kyle and all those guys. And then I had them all sign it. So it's signed by me, Logan, Kane,
I
Luke,
killed him once.
Paul, and Kyle. Okay? This laptop, you can win it. In our review of the G550JK, I'm just going to post the link in the Twitch chat. All you guys have to do is go watch the review. Badoop. Go watch the review, pick your favorite thing about the G550JK, post it in that forum thread, and then you will have a chance to win this piece of record-breaking gaming history. And just a heads up, guys, Logan's giving away his too. So stay tuned for that sometime in the next however long. I think he's pretty busy right now, so there you go. People are asking, is 5,000 viewers a lot? I think so.
I think so.
If 5,000 people listen to me saying something...
How Twitch works,
like
to be able to get a ton of viewers, you usually need to go for quite a while because it takes so long for the subscription email to go out. So because we have a scheduled show that's very short, it doesn't offer itself very
And you know
well
what's funny is I didn't even tweet in the middle of the show to be like, hey, please come watch.
That usually helps a lot because the email doesn't freaking go out.
We're live right now.
I got people on my 24-hour stream that were messaging me when it was over, being like, where are you?
This is kind of after-party material right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You know what? I don't think I don't...
What the hell?
What are they doing?
They're throwing freaking candy. It's Taryn throwing candy at the window.
Hey! Can you cut that out?
That actually sounds like it's like not good for the window.
It's fine. It's gumballs. Go home! Go home! I've had enough of you! Says with pleasure. All right. I think we're actually done now.
He's gonna go beat it.
Peace, guys. Yeah, beat it!